All right, guys. How are you? It's bright. So, do what? Yeah, these ones right here are. So, I'm going to share a little bit of my story today. I hope you guys like it. It may not be much teaching, but so let's pray real quick. Lord, I thank you for today. I thank you for this opportunity to be so nervous and scared to get up here to overcome my fears, Lord, and I just hope that some words that come out of my mouth today, Lord, help somebody else in their walk, you know. And Lord, I just thank you for this chapel, for my brothers and sisters, and everybody else here at the hen house. Amen. All right. So I don't really know where to start, but I was living in the dark for a long time. It's probably about, 2013, somewhere in there. I was in drug court, and being in drug court is supposed to be a 15-month program, and it took me a little over 3 years to finally complete the drug court after I got a couple DUIs and sanction after sanction, I wasn't trying to have it. I really wasn't. I could have went and did my prison time. I could have been out a lot longer than the 3 years and the headache I had to go through. But in return to that, I got put into rehab, and that's not where I wanted to be. That was the last place I wanted, was to get clean. But I was sitting in jail, and the coordinator come down there, and she's like, I think it was about 2 months into it. She's like, okay, so you're not going to prison. And I was like, golly, because that's just what I wanted. I wanted to get it done, over with, because I knew once I get out, I could be back at doing what I did. And I agreed. I went. They told me I had to go for 30 days or so, I think. So I went down there to NOCA, there in Miami. So I went through it, and I did my little 30 days. So I was there. It's the first time I've been sober in a long time, and I was still pretty young. I go off and on, but my thing is drinking. That's my downfall. And then the needles and stuff would come later, you know what I mean? It's just a vicious cycle. Mine was drinking. So I went there, I got sober, and I went back and I made a deal with the judge, I was like, so I've been in this for a little over 3 years now. Why don't you let me do 6 months and graduate drug court? I think I can do that. And he looked at me and said, Mr. Lowe, if you can make it 6 months without any trouble, I'll let you finish. So I was over there. I got me a job over there at Tyson Chicken. I was doing the thing, going to work. Got over there in their aftercare program. I did my 6 months. He held up his end of the deal and let me graduate. So I had a job. The chicken job really wasn't for me. So I had went over to J&M Farms, and I was working there. And one good thing coming out of that, years down the road now, I met Bridget. At the time, it was a job, and I didn't care for it. Picking mushrooms. It was nasty. I didn't like it, but I did it. And I stayed over there probably, I did probably a year altogether in their little aftercare program. And we lived there in Commerce. I ended up getting a job at Hopkins, and I was the lead man on the graveyard shift. Things was going good. I got sober. I had stayed sober for probably 6 years, going through that little program. I had my kids. Well, yeah, had one kid, and another one was pretty much on the way, So things was going good. I was working there, and they come in, found the old joint roach out on the table, and things had just been leading up to it. Me and my boss, I knew that they was probably going to fire everybody. So I had already backslidden a little bit. I was piddling in the meth and drinking, and I kept it pretty hush-hush for a little while. I did it. Wife didn't even know about it, but whenever I lost my job, I resorted back to the only thing I thought I knew how to do, sell dope. And I wasn't even very good at that because I did it most of the time. I couldn't ever make much money off of it because it's either going in my arm or I was drinking. So I did that. I kept what I thought was a okay life for what I was doing. So I was making trips down there to Tulsa. I was getting my money, and I wasn't doing it as much. I got off into it pretty bad there for a little bit. Come home, had the police at my door all the time. People thinking I was threatening them, or I was getting. I wasn't a very good person at the time, so got some protective order put on me, and it was spiraling downhill from there. My wife ended up leaving me. She took my kids, went to my mother's house, and she stayed there for a little while. And, it's hard. Yeah, it's hard to, well, you guys see my kids running around here. You know how close I am with them. And to go and not even talk to them and stuff, it ate at me. I'll get it together. So, after that, I just did my own thing. I wouldn't go around my mom and them. I wouldn't talk to my kids, but on the phone for a little bit, Tell them I loved them, and I made some really dumb choices. I had people living with me that it was just all bad. I was stealing power from the place, I was living off a generator, and finally that all come to an end because the law come. Somebody got shot, or shots got shot at my house. Something along the line of some guns getting shot, and the neighbor's house is getting hit, and the police is all over my house, and I was in there sleeping, but they didn't believe it. They didn't believe anything I was telling them. So they come through my house because I was on probation, and they come in there, they took my guns, they was just on me. They couldn't find a reason to get me. I never had anything on me when they'd stop me. I'd leave it at the house. But you knew there was one that lived on the other block. He was trying to get me every time I walk out the door. He was right at the end of the block waiting on me. So, after so long of living like that, man, it just get old. It wasn't what I wanted, and I knew it wasn't what I wanted. And I knew about this place from that man right there, John. He had told me about this many times before, because he was up here, he did the program, but he told me it was church, you know what I mean? And I didn't believe in God. I ain't never been to church, and that was what was keeping me from coming here. I was like, it just seems like too much God for me. It's just not something that I feel like I want to be fake. I felt like I was fake the whole time I got here whenever I finally did make it. But I knew in the back of my mind that there was something better because I seen him doing it. You know what I mean? And we go a long ways back, to the bad and now to the good side of things. So there is change in it. There is. And with that being said, it was, I think, about 2 years ago now, on October 4th, is my mother's birthday. And I had went back to their house. I sobered up enough to go back there, spend the weekend, because that's all I do. I go stay a couple days and see my kids, and then I leave, see my mother. So I was there, and something went bad. I don't remember. I'm sure my wife could tell you, but something went bad. It wasn't all good. Anyway, I ended up getting in an argument with them, and my kid was at the door crying again. Man, it just tear you up when your kid seeing me just coming and going, and I couldn't tell them why. You know what I mean? They always, Bridget was very, very good. She never told them that your dad's all messed up on dope or drinking or nothing. She always told them I was gone working or something. You know what I mean? So she never ran me in the ground there, but my kids is old enough to know. You know what I mean? They knew what was up. They did. At least Ray and Colton did. And my oldest daughter, Haley, she did too. And so I get in an argument with them, and I take off and leave. I'm going to go fishing. I grab me some beer from the store, and I'm walking because I ain't got no driver's license. I ain't got no bike here in Bartlesville where I was at because all my transportation, everything back at home, you know what I mean? My bikes and all my tweaker gadgets that I had to get me around. You know how it was back then, right? So, yeah. No, I didn't ride no skateboards. I rode mopeds. So, but I laugh about it now, but man, it was serious then. And so I'm walking, and I'm going fishing, and like the whole time I'm doing this, it's like I knew that it wasn't what I wanted to live like that, and I take off and I'm going fishing, and the lake's only like, I don't know, probably 5 miles from my mother's house. And I'm walking, and well, I didn't turn at the lake. I keep on walking, and I ended up out past Copan, and I was like, well, I don't know where I'm going now, so I just kept on walking. And I got a ride from an old boy. He picked me up somewhere around, it was at the smoke shop there in Copan. He picked me up, and he said, the farthest I'm going is to the Casey's there in Coffeyville. And I was like, all right, man. So he gives me a ride, drops me off there, and we are on camera. But I borrowed a bike from somebody there, and because it was a long walk, and I feel bad, Lord forgive me, I feel bad for it, but I borrowed this bike, and by that time I'm coming to the Father's house. That's what I thought this place was called. And I'm riding this bike, and I end up in Coffeyville. So I'm calling John, and I tell him I'm on my way, He's like, where? And I was like, I'm on a bike, man. I'm on my way. Well, the bike breaks. So I leave the bike on the side of the road, and I'm walking. And by this time, Bartlesville's what, 50-something miles away? So I'm walking, and it's raining, and it's kind of cold. Nobody would stop and pick me up. I'm sure I didn't look like I was in the best shape to somebody to stop and pick me up. So I'm going, and I get to there, and I figure out it's here. So I'm walking, and, all these cars are passing me. And mind you, I don't believe in God, but I do believe today that was my first encounter I had with God, because I was laying on these church steps to let the rain lighten up a little bit. And I'm laying there, and the whole time I was by the elders of this church, their house. There's 3 different ones out there that I was within a mile of their house. And I didn't know it then, but the guy that used to be a leader here was coming from one of them's house, and he was pulling a car trailer. And he come flying out of there, and I stuck my thumb out one more time, like, dude locks his brakes up and slides, and he's like, where are you going? I was like, to the Father's house. He's like, where's the Father's house at? And I was like, I don't know, man. They told me it's in Independence, and that's where I'm trying to go. And he's like, I know about. He told me his name was Jack. And me and Jack become pretty good friends after that. Him picking me up, he's like, I'm sober for 6 years or 4 years, something like that. I'm just telling him, man, I'm jacked up, and I'm trying to get to this place to get some help. But dude punches in his phone and calls James, the old director here. And I'm talking to him, and I was like, man, all I got is clothes on my back, you know. Took off walking from Bartlesville. He said, I'll get you a place to stay for tonight. They got me in this program, and, you know, I get here, and I'm like, this is fake. I didn't believe it, you know. This is at the time, not now, but at the time, I was like, and this whole thing is fake to me because I didn't do church and all that before. And, you know, he's like, just lean into it. Well, the first week I left, Kelly probably knows, I left it. 1 week I was going to a different program. I was like, I'm done here. So I leave, and I come back that night. He let me back in. So I was like, all right. So I was like, maybe I need to be here. And then like 2 weeks later, maybe 3 weeks later, getting a little altercation over some French fries. Then they was going to kick us both out, right? So I was here. I did all that. I made it through that. And then I graduated the program, and I get over into the integration. And I did my time over there. And then I decided I was going to go back out. I went back out I made some very dumb choices in the meantime of going back out. And this place is very unforgiving. They forgive you, and it's no judgmental against you or nothing. Pastor Lisa and Pastor Dick, I can't thank them enough for what they've done. You know what I mean? They're good people. And especially for the stunt that I pulled whenever I decided I was going to go out and use and make bad choices. But since then, I have gotten right. I put all my time here. I come back to the program. I did my contract 5 or 6, whatever it was, and I did that. And then I went back to the integration. I graduated out of it. I got about, well, you guys know, a little over a year clean now. And I got my family, you know, had all that. That's all I was trying to get back to was my family, you know. And God restores for sure. For sure. Because I believe wholeheartedly today that if he wouldn't have been on my side, man, things would have went way bad a long time ago, you know. But yeah, I got my kids after 2-3 times of just blowing it. Even after I got here and he restored them, the first, month I was here, everything just started coming back together. You know what I mean? And I blew it again after I was here. And I didn't think it was going to come back together. You know what I mean? People tell you, yeah, I forgive you, but, man, some things that you do, it's like, man, I don't know how you can forgive me for that, you know, especially after I've done it another time. But we've moved on from that today, and things are good. And so I just volunteer all my time to here because I feel like I owe it to this place, to God, all of it. And if it wouldn't have been for him, I dang sure wouldn't be up here. Because a year ago, hell, let's even go back 2 years ago, I'd have laughed at you if you told me I'd been up here talking to any one of you guys or that I'd even be in church. You hear me? or where I'm at right now, because I'd probably laughed at you and told you that's not possible. It's not going to be like that. But I'm thankful for each and every one of you. And this guy right back here in the back that got to come hear a little bit of my shaky story. This man right here, I'll tell you a little bit about him. Jeremy in the yellow shirt. Me and him go way back to my days where I was not a very good person. He got to meet me while I was a good person, while I was sober back. I told you 6 years of being sober. He got to meet me then. I was his boss. And whenever I fell off, I kept it hid from him in a way, but in a way he knew what was going on because you come to my house and he could tell you. For somebody that didn't do drugs, they could tell you exactly what was up. That's my friend right there, for sure. He stuck by me through some terrible times and probably didn't know what to do or anything like that or even half of what was going on, but he was there. He was there for me. And for him to get to be here today because he didn't know I was doing this, we had some other appointments this afternoon, but I'm glad that he got to be here to hear a little bit of it too. So, and I'm also thankful for you, John, because without you, I probably wouldn't have known about this place. It means a lot. And I'm getting about done here. Sorry, it might not have made sense or nothing, but if you